you wearing that shit?
Because the Sounders are in the Western Conference Finals, a-hole.
What are the Sounders?
They're
What are the
Sounders. They're two-time MLS Cup champions. No.
They're the Zulily Sounders? What the fuck are they?
You know how soccer does, like, they used to be Xbox, and it was a lot cooler than, I don't even know what Zulily is.
So it's like
or something.
NASCAR, but shitty?
Kind of that.
Just whore yourselves out to anyone and anyone?
But this kit is
What the fuck is a kit?
Is the Jimi Hendrix signature line. So I had to. It's purple.
It's a haze.
Right.
Jesus. Feel like I'm just walking into a purple haze. Like you two just got stoned as a mofo and decided to
covered a lot of ground already, Justin. Did you know that Ballsacks is another name for your willy?
Did you listen to my son's message that I
haven't
sent?
had a chance to. I've been running around scrambling trying to get to my
for you.
podcast.
I'll play it for you. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what was it that you said?
I was going to say, I said to Mummy, Ballsacks is a kind of name for Willie.
Ballsacks is a kind of name for a willy.
Yes, it is.
He's not wrong.
No, he is totally wrong. Those are two completely different things.
Because how old is this? Your son?
And I said, Kay, you have to translate. I'm listening to a 5-year-old Englishman.
Right. I get it though. I mean, at that age, it's all kind of the same. It's all just, it's all the Twig and Berries is all just one amazing spot that you don't quite know a lot about, except it's funny.
Yes.
When somebody gets hit with a football there, you laugh, and that's
the amount of times he'll jump into bed and he didn't even touch that area and he just goes, "Oh, my ball sacks," and he always does plural, like he has multiple sacks.
Have you checked? Does he?
Have I checked?
Well, I don't know. You're his mom. Is it weird for your mom to check your testicles? I'm not sure. I never asked my mom, like, "Hey, can you check and make sure I've got the right number of balls in here?" But now that I think about it, maybe I should have. Quick survey of the room. What is the appropriate number? Like, how many are you supposed to have? Is it 2?
I'm pretty sure it's 2.
Well,
I'm no doctor.
The worldwide average is slightly less than 2.
All right, that makes sense. Fair enough. Yeah, Mommy, my ball sacks are all over my willy.
And then Todd was telling me that the first time you ever heard the F word, Todd, go for it.
It was the playground in first grade, and it was a kid who had an older brother where we all get, and he said, "You little effer," and I had to go home and ask my dad what and he it's a bad word, son. You shouldn't say it.
I love that that's the first time you ever heard it. I'm pretty sure Noah has heard every swear word under the sun.
But that's from you.
From my mouth.
That's before the playground. He's the kid at the playground who is teaching the other kids those words.
I'm going to yes, Justin, I'm going to bet on that.
Yes, right, exactly.
There's
probably the reason that he thinks ball sacks and willies are all the same.
No, this came from, I asked who he heard that from, and he said his friend Henry.
I bet his friend Henry. Again, now, is this weird? Be like, I need to examine your wedding tackle. I just need to see if what my son was saying was accurate. Perhaps that's what it is. It's all just one amorphous blob of willy and ball sacks.
I don't want to know.
Well, I couldn't quite understand what little young Noah was saying. And so when I hopped on with Kay, I was like, "Can you translate?" And I said, on the WhatsApp, I go, "I'm not 100% sure what I just listened to, but I do know that our next guest is going to be Henry."
Sweat snacks and all that sauce and basic anatomy with Henry. That is possible that Henry on the playground, not saying that your son's doing it against somebody else. I had a buddy who was big into puppetry of the penis, he called it. He would do all kinds of fun and games, like with his ball sack. What's the movie? Is it Waiting, where they're in the kitchen and they're talking about the bat wing and all the other. This is way before that. This is when, like, that movie had not come out yet. I'm a younger lad, and I've got a buddy who's got all kinds of tricks he can do with his cash and prizes. So he would do all these different ones. It always ended with milking the cow. That would just be this possession where all of a sudden he would just like squat and put it between his legs, and then he would make it like he was milking it. And that was
so
that was always the grand
Sweat and
finale.
all that sauce, y'all.
Mike, I know you're listening.
Welcome to Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K and Todd, where no sport is off limits.
Neither is any other subject.
Neither is any other subject.
Adolescent
private
anatomy,
parts,
we're in.
whatever it is. This week we are debating the worst fan base in sports. Now, I haven't been around long enough to really know the ins and outs of the very different. You guys are here to teach me a lot of things. I am a big Detroit fan, and that's about it. So I'm here to learn, but I did do a little bit of research, and I took some things from this guy Chris Mueller from yardbarker.com and
Sounds
Mike
legit.
Freeman. Yes, and Mike Freeman on USA Today. But I'm intrigued to hear what you guys have to say. But before we get into it, Todd, can you give us your latest news, please?
I don't know if we ever determined if video gaming was a sport, but it's certainly turning into a big dollar. They're selling out 60,000 seat stadiums to watch dudes play Fortnite.
They're giving college scholarships for this.
It's unbelievable.
Are they for real?
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. I no longer yell at my kid to get outside. I'm like, get back on.
You get that scholarship.
So if video gaming is a sport, our friends at Pizza Hut, shout out Pizza Hut, have unveiled a new gadget that allows gamers to keep their pizza warm using the heat generated by their PlayStation 5 console. The pizza warmer is designed to look like a miniature Pizza Hut box and can hold several slices at once. It is not for sale, but anybody interested in having one of these things can 3D print it at home using the free plans from Pizza Hut's website.
I saw that on
Did you see
Instagram,
it?
and I did see it, but I didn't read into it, and I thought it was just fake.
I know that's what sucks about fake news. Because now you don't know, like, is this AI? Is this somebody just funning us? And then
I don't know a lot of gamers who, the pizza gets cold by the time they're done eating it. You know what I'm saying? Half of them can multitask. It's like me driving with a bowl of soup in my lap. They're able to kick your ass in Fortnite whilst eating a pizza at the same time.
And then what goes best with pizza? Come on.
Mountain Dew, of course, is what they
If you're a gamer, but for the rest of us normal people that get out of the
Ranch?
basement.
Well, water.
Ranch dressing.
Drink ranch. That's the beverage. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just drink ranch dressing? Yeah. Bite a crust, slam of the old ranch dressing. I guess beer was what some people, Todd, would say, but I feel like you would say that compliments every meal. So
You're not wrong, sir. And 'tis the season. Miller Lite is creating some holiday buzz with their new Yule Lager, which is a beer pouring fireplace. Limited edition piece of furniture features a custom LED screen that looks like a crackling fire, complete with sound effects, and a chimney beer tower for pouring ice cold beer. It even has built-in hooks for hanging stockings. Be on the lookout. This thing will be available starting 2 days from this recording in limited quantities.
some people think leaving out milk and cookies for Santa is the way to get on a nice list. That Santa wants to come down your chimney and find the Yule logger, just pour himself a cold one, get 7 or 8 of them for the reindeer. You kidding me?
Oh my God. What has the world come to?
It's gotten better, Kay. We are living in the golden age of humanity.
In Justin's words, what a time to be alive. And then since I'm wearing my footy because my Seattle Sounders are in the conference finals of the MLS, chance to go to the cup.
Your Seattle Sounders, like you're a diehard.
It's not like I just bought
He
them.
does own a shirt that I think says Sounders in French. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck Zulily
I don't know
is.
what Zulily is. It says Jimi Hendrix down here, though.
All right, fair enough.
Well, with football, it's always the ad, isn't it? That's always
Yes,
like the
that
sponsor or
pays-
whatever. Yeah.
Like, it's all the way back to when we were playing T-ball and soccer, and we were like the Yakima Cement Products Challengers.
Cement products.
I'm not kidding.
I always loved it.
We didn't
Like,
have that game for
our little leagues were all sponsored by bars. Like, this wasn't a beer league, but it's just like a bunch of 8-year-olds are done by like Shakers. You know, it was just,
Chico's bail bonds.
yeah, right. We would love to go to where our sponsor for after the game for pizza, but unfortunately, they do not allow anyone under the age of 21 in the establishment.
So awesome. America.
It's just supporting the kids.
Right.
Strip clubs are next.
Ooh.
Let the games begin.
Ooh,
No, not ooh. Not ooh.
why not?
Not an ooh. Do not give me an ooh on that.
It's a
No,
hybrid,
no, no,
you
no.
know. Hey, I'll tell you what. On my 18th birthday, I was taken to, because in the great state of Minnesota, they have these bars. They're not really bars. They serve soda, and then there's entertainment.
Scale
So-
class.
That sounds awful. That sounds terrible.
So you pay a cover, and then you have to buy like an overpriced, cup of Coke, and then you sit there and you see the whole thing. You know, it's the whole show. But why I'm bringing this up,
18th
how I connect it to sports is it's my 18th birthday, and we're at this particular establishment, and I look over, and sitting there on Sniffer's Row, as I learned it was called that night, is my junior high gym teacher. Still wearing like the tracksuit that I remember him wearing when I was in junior high a few years earlier. I pretended like I didn't see him. Still don't know if he saw me, but I didn't want him to know I was there because I needed to get back and tell everybody I could before. I'm not going to name him or the establishment or the school.
I'm really sad that you did not go up and talk to him, though. I'm really disappointed in you.
Well, I
think this
think
would've been
he
a
was
much
actually kind of
better
busy
story.
at the moment, so I don't think that he really wanted to talk to me unless I had some more dollar bills for him to dish out to what could have been his former students.
Oh my god. I'm gonna barf.
Why?
Because I'm
Misty!
thinking
It was nothing to barf at, I'll tell you right now.
If there was social media then, Justin, you would be a rich man today because you'd be like, I'm going to dangle this right here, buddy.
That poor guy wouldn't have a job.
He wouldn't be a rich man. He wouldn't know how to do it.
What a blackmail?
I know how to
doesn't know how
blackmail. I don't know how to use social media to do it, though.
There it
Teach
is.
me,
There it
Kate.
is.
Teach me.
Let's get to our debate. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys start since you guys are ever so knowledgeable about all things sports. Can you, what's that face for?
Well, I say like, we're not that now, but I do know how to hate stuff, and if they're so that there's groups of people I can dislike. This sounds great. This is a great talker.
Exactly. Okay, so Justin, I can tell that you're itching to get something out. So can you tell us who you think worst fan base is?
And I would like to say, this is just based on my personal experience. Maybe not everybody's had the same personal experience. And you would think right away it's like, oh, well, he's going to hate Packer fans. They're terrible, but they're harmless. I mean, if you've ever been to Lambeau Field and wearing your purple, they just look at you and say, it looks better on you, as they wear a fucking wedge of fake cheese on their head. Whatever. That's fine. They still, you know what? They've kept Zubas around, so God bless them for what they do. But Bears fans, now there's a different story. Fuck
Ooh.
Bears fans, the absolute worst in not just the NFL, in all of sport. And again, I'm just basing this on my personal experience, but I will say there was a time, let's call it Christmas Eve, where I'm at Metrodome, my wife and I playing the part of Christmas Eve because this is 20 plus years ago, a husky bearded fella. I actually dyed my beard white, and my mom made me a purple Santa suit because we are going to be at the nationally televised Christmas Eve game, and my wife has a Mrs. Claus suit. It's purple Santa, purple Mrs. Claus. We're trying to get into the game. We've tailgated with some people. Some people have wanted to sit on my lap, ladies. My wife not.
This is getting real kinky.
Oh, you got a Santa thing?
I did not know that you were reading one of those really hot books. What are those like
romance novels.
romantic novels?
Fabio on
Yeah,
tour.
We're writing one right now in your mind, Kay.
yes, please.
So, I mean, now
Come sit on my Ballsacks. Ho, ho, ho.
I have multiple.
come sit on my lap and tell Santa what you want for Christmas, and he'll give you 2 of them. So anyway,
We're having a special. There's a special today.
Yeah, we're walking into Metrodome, and there's this whole group of Bears fans, and I know they're Bears fans for two reasons. One, because they got Chicago shit on. Two, they just yell, fuck this state, fuck Minnesota. And they look at me and say, fuck you, Santa. Fuck you, Santa fucking sucks. It's Christmas Eve. Like, they don't care. They're just automatically on the naughty list. And then I'm not kidding. Like, they've said their part. Do they just move on? No, they stay there and continue to berate Purple Santa. Little kid walks by in his Vikings gear, like, hey kid, fucking Santa doesn't exist. Fuck Santa and fuck you. And I was like, whoa. And again, small sample size of that game for those Chicago Bears fans. Later on, I believe the Vikings ended up winning that game. Don't think I ever actually made it onto TV or not. I don't really remember because I was pretty shit-faced. But what I do remember, as I was getting ready to exit Metrodome, I'll never forget. This is burned in my brain forever. There's a guy, and he's a Bears fan because, again, he's got his Chicago shit. He's on the ground because the police have him there. They're putting one arm behind and the other, and they're handcuffing him. And I'm watching his two children, who are small, sobbing, watching their dad get arrested. And I'm thinking, I wonder if CPS has a chimney and or stockings. Those kids, I don't think they're going to be home for Santa.
Oh, no.
Merry fucking Christmas, Bears fans.
But what if Santa was played by Ditka?
It'd be the best Santa ever. Everybody get 2 Christmases. Fucking, that's the other thing. Like, my God, you haven't had anything else? Like, they're even playing, I watched them playing the Vikings last week. They're still Ditkas in the stands. Like, you got nothing else?
Like,
Don't get me wrong, I see an occasional Randy Moss or Chris Carter jersey in the stands at a Vikings game, but you haven't had a good coach since Ditka? Come on.
On the football front, both of the guys that I did my little research bit on, Chris and Mike, they both said Philadelphia Eagles fans. But they said that they're kind of coming around and they're being better now, I guess.
What's
Why would they be better?
What's the infamous Philly Santa Claus incident?
Yes, so that was discussed. Why don't you go ahead and share that, please?
Santa Claus came out at halftime. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, 'tis the season. Merry Christmas. Boo! And they were at home like, F you, Santa.
And that was
What is
actually
it with Santa? They really hate Santas, all these NFL fans.
Because obviously they didn't get what they wanted for Christmas, which was a good football team, although that's changed now for Philadelphia Eagles fans. But I will say this about Philly fans. They are the worst, but at the same time, they're the best. They are so passionate about their team. So I mean, at the NFC Championship game, the Vikings went to Philadelphia after the Minneapolis Miracle and got their asses handed to them, right? And there were stories of Vikings fans who had shown up in purple. People like, don't wear your Viking stuff. And they did. And I mean, they were accosted. Beers were poured on them. Sounds like apparently like people were getting jumped in the parking lot and people were trying to get police officers to help them. The police officers laughed and like got another beer. And here's the thing. Diehard fan, dedicated to their team. Don't go into their house wearing the purple. You were warned. I would never would have.
Oh my God. So what they said was the booing of Donovan McNabb on draft day. What's the story there? I didn't go into it. I just wrote this little nugget down and I'm very curious about what this means for Philly Eagles fans. What happened?
That's nothing compared to the game when they were playing against the Dallas Cowboys and Michael Irvin got they thought he was paralyzed. They have to take his face mask off, his helmet, put him in one of those braces and carry him off the field. They were cheering. Yeah. Not like, hey, hang in there, buddy. We hope you're all right. They're like, F yeah, kill him.
To be fair, right by the vet, there was a iron lung factory. So maybe they were just, assuming that they were just helping the economy.
At the vet, there was a jail.
There is.
Pro stadiums have a jail built into it.
See, this isn't coloring a picture or a portrait for me of a bad fandom. This sounds like the best. These guys fucking awesome.
Should we all switch to Philadelphia
I've
Eagles?
thought about it. Like, at least they win sometimes.
And the irony is it's the city of brotherly love. When does that start, Philly?
And their most famous sports figure, the one that everyone idolizes the most, fictional character in Todd's favorite movie.
And that is?
Rocky Balboa.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I
It's
went
not
to
a
Philly
documentary.
and
Okay? It turns out that is not a real thing.
I went to Philly and I never did the Rocky Stairs. I never did it. I know. I'm such
I would get a
shit.
cheesesteak and I would jog up to the top and then I would sit down and I would eat it.
And
And then I would wipe my hands on the Rocky Balboa statue.
had Kay actually done that, she would have posted on the gram her Fitbit.
Oh, yeah. Look how many steps I did in Philly. I brotherly love this town. It's so walkable.
Why are you guys so mean to me?
We're just mad because you know how to do social media.
Hey, yo, Mick. You don't like my house, Mick? I'll stink, Mick.
I'd be so much happier if you guys also knew how to do social media, because then the heat would be off me.
I kind of split mine up, Justin. You mentioned this, like you brought it like kind of personal. This is my personal experience, like crappy fans. I'll start off with just my perceived crappy fans. Dallas Cowboy fans still talking about Super Bowls that happened 30-something years ago. How about them Cowboys?
I like how you put on this accent as well.
How about them boys? We them boys. She guys haven't friggin' done anything in 3+ decades.
I wrote down Dallas Cowboys fans, and all I said was, "Nuff said."
Pathetic.
And then Yankees fans, okay, are I won't say they're the worst. They are the most incorrigible. And here's why. Because they try to end every debate with 27 rings, 27 rings. And I finally came up with the perfect retort. I go, yeah, you got 27 rings, but about 21 of those occurred when there were only 5 other teams in the big leagues. They didn't have any teams west of the Mississippi River, and they didn't let, what's it called again? Oh, yeah, black guys play.
Them's
I
just
love
facts,
that.
Yankees fans.
Sorry.
Also, you know what? Nothing chaps my ass more than you go to like a Mariners game or, and you just, when the Yankees are in town,
No.
it's just overwhelmed. And all of a sudden, all these Yankees fans come out of the woodwork like cockroaches
Yep.
in New York City. Like, why? Oh, you're a lifelong Yankees fan. You're not even a sports fan. You just want the team that wins. It's bullshit. You don't actually
The
like
amount of-
baseball.
The amount of people in this country that I see, especially around London, that wear New York Yankees hats, and I don't even think that they understand what they're wearing, and it's disgusting. And I always want to just rip it off and throw it and stomp on it and just replace this shit. I don't care with who, but replace it, because if you can't tell me what this actually stands for, they're like, "Well, it's New York City."
That's like the Lakota tribe becoming like their sports team is the General Custers. It's just like, yeah, root for these assholes. Like, England, you like the Yankees now? Big fans of us over here?
Isn't that just, it's like huh? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's England, Kay. There's just
I
devil's
know.
wheels, aka roundabouts everywhere. You're on the wrong side of the road. Vinegar goes on fucking potatoes. You call them chips. It makes no sense. Okay.
I don't get why I live here. I really do.
And then
I don't.
on a personal level, I don't know, it was probably a fellow Seahawk fan, but my worst fan encounter, there's a lot of beer flowing at an NFL game, a lot of tailgating beforehand. Some people don't know their limits. And this particular gentleman was sitting 2 rows behind me and was a very rotund feller. And we had yet to even kick off. So I'm sitting in my seat because once the game begins, you're going to be standing for the majority of it. At least that's what the 12s do. And this guy was so loaded, he fell not 1, but 2 rows of seats. I can't see it because it's happening behind me. And the next thing I know, I'm like, well, I guess I don't need to buy that Craftmatic adjustable bed after all, because I can clearly blow myself.
You're living the dream. You didn't. How you got there doesn't matter, Todd. It's the destination, not the journey.
What the hell, man?
Ow. Oh.
Is it safe to say that maybe booze is actually not
Hey,
something?
just, you know what? Can we mute your mic? Can you just stop right now? If it weren't for alcohol, none of us would be sports fans, okay? Jesus.
I just had a really bad chest pain. I think I'm having a heart attack.
This could be a first on a podcast.
Ow, it really hurts.
Hey, Kay, drink
My
some more wine.
My heart's not even on my right side. It's on my left.
It'd go viral though, so yeah.
If you had your son in here, Dr. Noah, he could do some anatomy discussions.
Damn
You would
straight.
learn what everything is.
Henry could do the play-by-play. Teach us some new medical terminology besides physiological.
Notre Dame haven't won a national championship in over 3 decades, but they act like they're Alabama.
Alabama's closer to Notre Dame these things than Notre Dame isn't close to Notre Dame. But yes, yeah, there's something about Notre Dame I don't quite understand why still like their games are broadcast nationally. They haven't been good in decades, but they're God's team. I mean, the Lord.
But
is...
that's why I wrote it down, because I'm like, I don't understand it.
I don't know. Todd, were you ever like into Notre Dame, like growing up? She's like,
Oh.
ooh. I mean, I know that you like
Oh.
the worst movie of all time. When part of the reason it sucks is because it's about Notre Dame.
That was the toughest pill to swallow in that movie. Rat bastards. I think it speaks to the power of Catholicism.
There you go.
Ugh,
There you go.
gross. Mike Freeman wrote about the Golden State Warriors. There were 17 Warriors fans before Steph Curry. Now, there are apparently 20 million of them, and they have been fans from the beginning, they allege.
From the beginning, from when they got Steph Curry, they don't know it's.
Yes,
If
exactly.
they can,
Yes, before Steph, there was no
if
fans.
a Warrior fan can tell me how did Rick Barry shoot his free throws, then I might give them some credence.
Right?
I don't know.
If you
who
can
that
tell
is,
me
so
which
don't give me any
two
credit.
Golden State Warriors were represented on NBA Jams, then I will perhaps.
The Warriors actually won the NBA championship in like 73, and Rick Barry, he's a Hall of Famer. He shot his free throws, what they call
I know what a free throw is. You don't need to act it out.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm going to act it out.
You don't even know where your heart is.
He shot him. He shot him granny style. He shot him what they call granny style.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, for real. And guess what? He's the greatest foul shooter in the history of the NBA.
Is that legal to do that?
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, just don't cross the line. You can get the ball there however you want. Headbutt it in.
How
if you
come
want.
nobody does it then?
Because it looks pussy.
It does. Like Shaquille O'Neal, if he had just stuck with it, he probably could have been like a 65% free throw shooter.
That's why they call it granny style. Nobody, the machismo. I'll just shoot 62% and lose the game.
Instead of throwing granny
And why is like granny style a bad thing? Like your granny's awesome. You love her. She's got style.
maybe
Boy,
granny's
she's
not
got
awesome.
grace. She's a winner.
And you wouldn't be here
Like
born
she's
for her.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe she's not. We don't know their stories. St. Louis Cardinals fans who didn't invent baseball, but will attempt to make you think that they did.
But they're such nice people,
Yes.
okay? Go down to that stadium. They're like, oh, it's your first time here? Welcome. You want a tour? I'll leave my kids. I can take you around. Whatever. It's fine. They're nice people.
See, I need to travel more. I need to do like this whole like stadium tour thing.
First time I went
So it'd
to
be
Yankee
nice.
Stadium, I sat out what they call the bleacher creatures. Now, I've been to Chicago, Wrigley Field, where you sit with the bleacher bums, and I've sat in both. And the first time I went to Yankee Stadium, it's general admission, festival seating out there. First come, first served. So me and my buddy, who's living in Manhattan at the time, go to Yankee Stadium. They're playing the Mariners. Of course, I got my Mariner lid on. And we're trying to find a seat, two spots for our skinny asses to sit down. And the bleach creators are like, asshole. I'm like, man, they're really giving it to some guy. And finally, one guy just went like this to me. I took my hat off and it stopped.
Oops.
Yep. Oops.
Well, again, you are invading their home territory.
Know your surroundings.
Penn State. Penn State. Chris Mueller wrote in part, if I have to hear one more time about the unique energy at a primetime whiteout game, I'm going to puke.
But it's Happy Valley.
It's Happy Valley. And you know what? If that's what's going to make you puke about the Penn State program, your priorities are a little crooked there.
And it's home of Hingle McCrinkleberry.
Well, let's not get into the whole dark side of Penn State, shall we? Let's see. So speaking of Cubs, he also went on to say that Cubs fans are also now becoming the worst since winning the World Series.
They
This is
probably
Chris
always
Wheeler.
were. We just didn't, it's the Cubs fans, those poor.
Justin brought it up. They were the lovable losers. And they won. Everybody's like, it's just like the Red Sox. Okay. Just like the Patriots.
So this is
Okay.
this is my question. This is my question then. So the moment a team starts winning or wins a lot, it's fine if they win like 1 or 2, but the moment that they really start, like I already cannot stand Kansas City Chiefs because they just keep winning. And I am in this whole mindset, this conspiracy theory that the refs are absolutely pulling for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Once you win a championship, you are automatically deleted from the empathy roll call.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that kind of sad? Like, what should be the threshold with that?
It's about 2 back-to-backs, and then you're done.
2 back-to-backs and then
yeah.
done.
And then you have to be done, and not for like a year off, then you're right back there. You gotta take some time. I mean, it's just like everyone talks about the Bulls and Michael Jordan, but was it just me? I couldn't fucking stand Michael Jordan after a couple of years. I'm like, okay, I get it. Enough. Is there anybody who can beat this guy? Can somebody please? I'm tired of watching Michael Jordan win all the time. And he's the greatest.
Well, he's got awesome shoes, and he was also in Space Jam.
And I hate to say this, grossly overrated movie. And Bill Murray's my favorite. Not as good as Space Jam 2.
Space Jam 2.
Because there are so many unanswered questions after Space Jam 1.
Yes. So true.
We needed a sequel. We needed answers.
So our 3 teams, I noticed on these lists and stuff, they never mentioned anything regarding Seattle. They never mentioned anything regarding Minnesota. They never mentioned anything regarding Detroit.
No, I think we're all pretty lukewarm. I think we're all well received around the leagues, all of them, to be perfectly honest.
So, but I will say I'm a part of these things on Facebook, like the NFC North fans things and, NFL trash talk things on Facebook. And the amount of people that are, I don't know how else to put it, but just berating Detroit Lions fans for being so excited for our season when we haven't even won anything. We're just simply excited.
You just
for
answer
the
your
season
question,
that we're having.
okay? They're like,
no, but why? But we haven't won anything. Why are we the enemy? That's
They're
not
like-
fair.
they're like Simadonna. You haven't won jack.
And that's what it is. Calm down. When you win something, come on back. And then we'll say, quit rubbing it in our face.
Yes,
There's no win.
But we're just enjoying
I know.
what we have never felt.
Kate, you were
Ever.
talking about people on Facebook that aren't actually people. They live under bridges, fucking trying to make people's lives miserable. Think about that. First of all, you're giving us shit for not being on social media. You still use Facebook? Come on. Secondly,
I use it so my mom can keep up to date with my life.
you could have a page called Puppies in Heaven, and it's puppies and angels, and people would bitch about it. They fucking hate it. Everybody hates everything on social media. You can't use that as like your measuring stick for anything, the positivity of anything, because everybody hates everything on social media. It's why it's a terrible thing.
It's like
We're on social media now, though, right?
It's like a purity test, though. This is where sports fans suck, and I include all of us. It's like a purity test. Oh, you're not as hardcore of a fan as I am. Okay, you even brought way more paper bags on our heads. That's how fucking hardcore we are. So there's
So
just
hardcore.
this.
Now that I hear you say it, and not me say it, how stupid was that?
It's like a faux purity test. Justin, help me.
100%. I'm on board with you on that. He's like, hey, you're not as big a fan as we are because we're more diehard, we're more dedicated. Even when our team sucked, we still showed up with more paper bags on our heads. That one to me because he's like, the Vikings fans are fair weather fans or Twins fans. You don't even care. You don't even show up. You know what? You're right. And I've had this discussion with people before. In the great state of Minnesota, we expect excellence. If you can't provide it, fuck you. We got something else to do. Summer's short. Twins suck. Guess what? I'm going fishing. Fuck you. Maybe I'll listen on the radio. Maybe I won't. Put a winning product on the field. I'm there, 100%. Those of you who just mindlessly continue to give them your money and your time and your energy, even though they're not producing for you, who's really got the problem? I'm
I've
just
been on
saying.
the
I'm not
receiving
throwing shade on Todd and his Mariners because Jesus Christ, good for you for sticking with them for that long.
I've been on the receiving end of it. After the Seahawks won in 2012, all these people are like, oh, look at all these Johnny-come-latelys wearing their 12 jerseys, yada, yada, yada. We were Guinness Book of World Record holders for loudest stadium. Oh, yeah, you're all loud. Woohoo. Guinness Book. Yeah. And I'm like, shit, man, I have Jim Zorn underoos. Fuck off. And also, they retired the number 12 in honor of the fans. In 1984, the league's rules got changed because of the Kingdom. They used to penalize the team, the home team, if the crowd was too loud and the offense couldn't, the opposing team's offense couldn't call the play. They would penalize the home team for being too loud.
To appease the European people, apparently the Big Six, the Premier League teams, right? So they say that the international Big Six fans are the absolute worst. So that includes people all around the world that are fans of either Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, or Tottenham Hotspurs. Apparently they are the absolute worst. I feel like out of all of them, international ones, I feel like Liverpool might be the worst ones. And I know that there's a lot of them in the States.
All right,
and I don't know how or why they have that relation.
I do need to bucket list this and get to like a Premier League match because it's the songs they make up to taunt the other fans, the other team. And I don't know how many matches you've been to since you've lived in jolly old England. Oh, one. But I'm sure you heard like
Yes.
they will make personal songs against one player.
Against one player, against a certain team, and they have a certain
And their city.
song
Your mama
for
wears
each-
combat boots, but everybody's singing it.
It's not like us with our team song or whatever you want to call it. It's not that. They have multiple different chants songs, and it is mind-boggling. And I gotta say, a European football fan base, I think, is top tier compared to an NFL fan base.
Well, I'll give them credit for this. If their team's not doing well or it's just a shitty game, they do just burn the motherfucker down. So I give them credit for that.
They sure do. On that note, Justin, why don't you give us your wise words of wisdom, my friend?
Talking to my son the other day, and he told me he doesn't want to play football. Someone somewhere, most likely on the yard, which is what I'm assuming they call the playground now, it's the elementary school, lied to my son and said, you can get really hurt. And he heard somewhere that football players' brains get scrambled. And I don't know who's pushing this fake news in our youth, but it has to stop. I mean, has he walked through the living room while I'm watching the NFL and just by chance he sees Nick Chubb lose his leg? I suppose that maybe that happened. Or has he asked me why that player is having his helmet cut off and they're putting him on a stretcher? Yes, it's obviously because he was tired and didn't feel like moving his legs any longer. The point is, we need to stop this corruption of our youth. Running full speed into another kid who is running full speed in the other direction on a kickoff, resulting in seeing actual stars and not being able to remember what the snap count is, should be a part of all children's growing up. Are you kidding me? That's your path to manhood. These kids know nothing. They know nothing. I watched Mike Utley get paralyzed on national TV. When was the last time that happened? That game has become so safe that these kids, they shouldn't be afraid. Come on. Also, as I tried to explain to him, it's not you that's going to get hurt, boy. The plan is for you to hurt others. I mean, you see, son, if you're the one whooping ass out there on the field, you got nothing to worry about. You feel better? Good. Let's work on some more of your open field tackling. Get your sister out here. That's how you parent.
Justin?
Yes.
Can you come over and help me parent my child, please?
Oh, for a nominal fee. First of all, it's going to be weird, though, when you walk in the bathroom. What are you two doing? And our pants are down, and I'm just explaining to him, this is the Willie, this is the Ballsacks. Yes, I have two of them, just like you do. This is weird. Maybe I'm your dad. Wait, I'm not.
This went really dark. Thanks for joining us. How did that happen? You live like 8,000 miles away.
I'm that good. Again, sit on Santa's lap. Get what you wish for.
I never sat on your lap. Thanks for joining Sweat Socks and All That Sauce with Justin K and Todd. And Santa. You can...
Until next episode, I'll still be trying to connect the dots. Tune in next time. Same bad time, same bad channel.
And of course,
Until next time,
stay sweaty.
stay sweaty.
Sweat Socks and All That Sauce is hosted by Todd Lyons, Kay White, and Justin Michaels.
Our theme song made by Pat Leonards.
And the album artwork is by Mike Willis.